Hi, my name is Joanna Briggs. I studied English Literature and History at Roehampton University. I graduated in 2017 and then I went on to work at the Students Union because I was elected the Vice President of Education. Yeah, it definitely has been a journey. I think that's a really good word to describe it. So when I left Roehampton as a SAB, I went on to actually work at a bank. So I work in finance now. I work for a company called Close Brothers, and that was really different from going from words and reading loads to then thinking about working with numbers and being in banking. It was really different. But I have enjoyed it. I think what ends up happening is your personality and your interests naturally come out. So what ended up happening was I moved from those kind of roles to now currently being in HR, which is more about people because that is my interest. But then also during that time, I started my social enterprise, being what Matters CIC, which is another thing I'm passionate about, and what we're trying to do is help young people, particularly from a disadvantaged group, to gain access into areas they may not necessarily have exposure into, whilst also actually trying to build a program where we can actually help other organisations or universities develop ways that they can retain good talent. I always think it's one thing to get good people in your business or organisation, but it's another thing, totally to actually keep them there and make them feel like this is a place for them. So yeah, that has been my journey. It's been bumpy, on some areas or in some areas, but it's been really enjoyable. Becoming Vice President Education definitely, I guess, inspired the company. I think in that role, because I was exposed to so much back-end things of a degree, having, gone through that process and, all you do, go to lectures, go home or wherever you live. But actually in that role, finding out, how those lectures are developed, what kind of conversations are happening behind the scenes to try and help young people get good degrees. I started to realize, well, actually there are gaps here. Because not all students would come from a background where they understand how to capitalize when in those environments. And sometimes people do fall off just because they don't know what they're really doing there or how to make the most out of that situation. So I thought, well, what can I do? And then, it really took some time really thinking about what Matters looks like today. And even sometimes I think, it's not even what I'm sure will be in the next 5 or 10 years. But I think on that process, we will get to what it will be. But the heart and core of what we want to do is helping young people, really be able to reach their full potential and know that irrespective of where they started, it doesn't have to be where they're going. They don't have to follow the trends or statistics. They can really make change for themselves. Do you know what? That's a really interesting question because I think everything has a time and place. And I think so fondly of Roehampton, like some of the best memories, some that we couldn't even talk about now, but, come from that period being at Roehampton. And I also guess I kind of can't miss it because I'm still involved with the university, but just in a different capacity. So I am still around and are able to talk to people and connect with those that I once worked or studied with. But, I do think so fondly of it. I absolutely loved my time at Roehampton. But yeah, everything has a time and place. So it's not necessarily a miss, as in, I wish I was back there because I'm really enjoying what I took from there and also what I'm doing now. But I loved it. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so I'm a Southlands girl. So I lived on Southlands. I studied on Digby. So I absolutely love there. I mean, being able to live in halls and then just peek outside of the window and then see some of your friends on the lawn, particularly when it was summer. And then you just know it's going to be a good day. I'm just going to take some snacks, take some drinks, and just, chin wag with your friends. So yeah, I would definitely say Southlands. Sometimes the Reef as well, but that was more of a winter thing. Put on a movie, put the sofas together so that you can lie down and just watch it with your flat. But yeah, Southlands. Yeah, do you know what? So I wouldn't say Roehampton influenced me going into finance, but I definitely know that going to Roehampton influenced the way that I have worked and climbed in the organisation. One thing that I learned in Roehampton was definitely to be bold. Roehampton is the perfect place to kind of test that ground and be able to adopt or get involved in opportunities that they bring you, and actually think, well, do you know what, I'm just going to try it. And I've definitely kept that, with things that I do now. I remember when I first joined the organisation that I work at, I was maybe, I think, 3 or 4 months in, and there was an opportunity to mentor the CEO at the time, and I was super new, but because of the things that I had done at Roehampton, I thought, well, yeah, I can do that. Like, why couldn't I do that? And it's not to say that I had the skills to mentor and I had the skills to be able to advise someone senior as to things that they can do to be better and develop and do well for the company, but it's just because I really adopted the mindset, I guess, of thinking, well, do you know what, go for things that you like, and if you do know that you have some of the skills but may not have all, then just try it anyway, and they will tell you whether they don't want to take that risk. But if they're willing, then that's an absolutely incredible opportunity, and I got it. And I was in that post for around 2 years, and it was incredible, and it's something that not many people would be able to say that they've done at such a junior stage in their career, and also at such a young age. So I definitely think that boldness and confidence to just say, well, do you know what, I'm going to try it. And also, I guess, the mindset of thinking, taking a bet on yourself. A lot of the times through my career, I've been really self-aware in knowing where I want to go, what I want to do, and actually, if the place that I'm at isn't serving that, I am quite confident to be able to say, well, do you know what? Where I go next may not work out, but I'm willing to take the risk because I know here has kind of served its cap. And once again, I know loads of people would be in situations where they think, oh, well, actually, I don't want to take that risk, or, money's good, or this, that, whatever. I don't know what the next thing will be. But actually, I think, do you know what, if you know 51%, then you might as well try it, and then you can backtrack later. So yeah, I would say those kind of skills and that kind of mindset is definitely what was developed at Roehampton, and that has, definitely pushed me through. And it will be things that I remember for, a really long time, hopefully forever. To be bold, and I think that more than anything, there are so many things, and there'll be loads of people telling you who you should be, what you should try, what you should and shouldn't do. And actually being aware that what the advice other people give you comes from their own belief system and their own lives and their own experiences. And sometimes if that isn't where you should be going, or the kind of mentality you should be adopting, it can really stifle your progression. But actually, if you take the time to know exactly what you want to do, you don't have to have all the answers, but you should have some kind of direction, and you have conviction on where you want to go. That should really be your driving force. And, definitely take advice from other people, but, be sure and just go for it. We aren't here for a long time. Life is really short. The years pass you by. But actually, if you just think, well, do you know what, I'm just going to chance it and see what comes of it, oftentimes than not, it will be really good. It will be really beneficial. You'll learn something, you'll enjoy it, you'll have a different experience. I don't know, it could be the English lit student in me, but I see my life as a story. And sometimes I think, well, do you know what? This would be a cool part of my story if this worked out. So I might as well just try it. And if it didn't, then it will also be a really funny story to tell the kids. So, I would say definitely be bold and just be convicted, be, really measured and take time to think. But once you've done that, don't overthink, just, take the leap of faith. It always pans out, I find. Oh gosh, because I'm thinking that Joe would be 36. But I think what she definitely would be doing is having more of a say, or at least having a seat at the table on trying to help young adults develop. I know that will be the core and the heart of what I do for many years to come. I think what matters will be really influential in the way that young people see their prospects and see where they want to go, but also pivotal in allowing organisations to see and point out key things as to things that they may not be aware of that can be hindering their people from staying in their organisations or doing really well and thriving. I think a lot of organisations and universities would see a disparity between different groups, different demographics on achieving and not. And so, we as What Matters really would want to do that and cater to those people so that we develop the people coming in, and then we also develop where they're going so that they don't reach caps and glass ceilings really early on, and they do feel like their life can be really, they can really flourish. So yeah, that's what I see Joanna Briggs doing in the next 10 years. You know what? It is hard because you just think of so many people. If I had to push, and someone that I still really connect with and talk to a lot and everything, is Marilyn Holness. And I only actually met her when I was a vice president, at the university. Because of the work that I was doing, it just made sense. But since then, we have just, really built and grown in our relationship, and she is just so incredible, not just her career and things that she's doing now for the university and outside, but just her knowledge and the way that she's able to break things down. She's incredible at really having me think and probe. And, we had a conversation the other day and we were talking about what matters, and she was really pushing and pressing on me on, how is it going to make money? What are you actually doing with it? Really asking the hard questions that sometimes people don't ask. And it's not because they don't want you to progress. They know it's a good idea and, believe in you doing the right thing. But actually her being able to take out that time and say, okay, but what are we doing now? You're here, but how are we going to get you to the next point? And she's really, been an unofficial mentor for the past few years. It's been incredible. And I think Roehampton is so lucky to have her and people like her, because there are so many, like I said, people who have influenced me and really, boost me up and believe in me as a person and things that I want to do. And that really does go a long way. But yeah, if I had to push, it would definitely be Marilyn Holness.